Hi guys, how's it going? I wanted to do a quick update video for you guys. So last time I did at the beginning of my Slaying the Fiend video, I spent about an hour explaining everything that had happened in town and on the overworld map in between the two dungeons. So in case people wanted to skip that part, I wanted to do that as a separate video. So that's what I'm going to do now, and hopefully it'll be a little less than an hour. It should be a little quicker than that. So this location here, White 9, was the Slaying the Fiend location. We got that quest from Irondale, so we traveled. Took 2 days to go from back from the quest location to the village. There was no events. I was able to successfully forage for the 1 day. They had to camp out in the woods. Made it back to Irondale successfully. A lot happened in Irondale. There was no events in Irondale. I did roll another quest, I believe. No, I did not. Okay. So we got the quest reward. We also we ended up with 6,350 experience, as well as 715 coins. When I arrived to town, I sold all of her loot. I had a great sword -2, which is actually the one that Choppa's been using, or I'm sorry, Crash has been using this whole time. I swapped their gear around a little bit. So that was one of the first things I did, was I changed around their weaponry. Because I found that silver halberd, I gave that to Splitta. So Splitta, I made sure he get enough strength during his level up. I'll get to that in a second. But he did end up equipping the silver halberd. So it's a 1d12 halberd with two-handed weapon with reach, armor piercing 1. So effectively, it's the same as the javelin or spear that is a class 2 weapon, except for it doesn't have the built for offense negative debuff, so it doesn't make you easier to hit, and it's a D12 instead of a D10. But you can't use it one-handed. So is it worth getting that much strength for it? Well, if you had it, it works. Because it's silver, it also does an additional damage to undead, which is useful because my next quest is going to be against undead. And it can damage ethereal enemies, which only magic swords and silver weapons can do. He also got an additional damage boost through his level up, so I'll go to that part later. But he equipped that, and I ended up giving his magic sword and the magic shield to Choppa. So Choppa now is using a magic longsword, which is 1d12, which effectively is the same as what he had with the great axe. He's missing the armor piercing and the +2 additional damage. But the reason I did that is because I also found a magic heater shield. And I didn't really have anyone to use that for. I mean, I could have used it for Brightstar, but he doesn't really tank for me, so it would have been kind of wasted, I feel like. So I also found that magic shield, which gives me 6 defense for parrying, and allows you to parry after attacking twice, of course. And then it negates kind of fire damage. It doesn't make you immune to fire damage, but it makes you treat fire damage like regular damage. So it doesn't ignore armor, and you don't get that burning effect. So he's basically going to have the same damage output while being able to parry now that he has a high combat skill. And I ended up giving that great axe to Crasha. So Crasha is now going to have that armor piercing and be able to add to that with his frenzy and bump that up to 3 armor piercing. So I'll go over exactly how that works out in a minute after I go through the level ups. But so again, I ended up selling Greatsword -2, Padded Cap -3. I had a ring that I found that's enchantable that I sold. An Elven Skinning Knife, that Cursed Magic Dagger, ended up selling for 70. Skinning Knife 175, Ring 105, Padded Cap 12. Greatsword was 100. And a Battle Axe -2 sold for 50. And then a Warhammer -1 sold for 120. Also, I double checked the rules because some of my armor pieces got destroyed during the fight, including that super awesome full scale mail coat. And apparently, if an item loses all of its durability, at least for non-magic items, you're not allowed to repair them, at least for armors, which I didn't realize. So I was planning on paying a boatload of money to repair that, but instead I had to sell it. So I had to sell the scale mail coat because it was -8. I had to sell my mail shirt -6 and my padded jacket -6. Now, the scale mail coat is the most expensive piece of armor in the game. So I still got 340 gold for it, even though it was destroyed. Mail shirt, I got 120, 24 for the padded jacket. And I also ended up selling a leather bracers as well. And that ended up giving me a little over 1,000. But I did also pass my barter check. I actually got a critical barter roll. And Bright Star's barter got a +1. And then Splitta went, so Bright Star was the one selling the items. Splitta went to the store to purchase. He failed his barter roll, but he gets bonuses for availability. I couldn't buy a mail shirt, unfortunately. So I ended up buying a sleeved mail shirt, which was 950 gold. Mail leggings for 200. Leather bracers for 120. And the leather bracers I sold, I think, were -4 or -5. Yeah, and those are the 3 items I bought. And then I ended up spending a lot of money on repairs as well. So I spent 50 on repairing a leather cap, 96 on a padded jacket, 112 on a leather jacket, 30 on 2 different padded caps, and then 40 on to restore 1 point to a mail leggings, and then 280 to the scale mail vest. So that ended up costing me quite a bit. So I spent 1246 on the so I sold everything for 1126, and then plus I found 715 coins in the dungeon for a net gain of 1,840. I spent 1,246 on those 3 items, and then it was another 500-600 on repairs. Basically, there was nothing left. I think at the end, after my repairs, I ended up with like 23 gold after paying for the inn remaining. So I effectively had no profit from that. So that was kind of rough. It's my own fault for not understanding how durability worked and kind of going into the dungeon with a bunch of items that already were missing 2 or 3 spots. I'm not a huge fan of the big like scale mail coats because even though it covers 3 spots, damage to any of those 3 spots will damage its 1 durability track. So it only had 8 points, but it's divided between 3 different locations. So even just having padded equipment there, you have 18 points of durability. So it's much, much, much cheaper to use the lower tier armors than the higher tier. I didn't realize how much it breaks the bank to really use mail and scale mail equipment. Padded and leather armor is so much more affordable at earlier levels. Like I said, I a leather jacket which covers 2 pieces of armor, I could repair for 112. I repaired, I think, 4 points of durability to it. But to repair 2 points to a scale mail vest, which only covers 1 slot, was 280 gold. So it's significantly more expensive as you increase the tiers. And I am nowhere near being able to afford plate mail armor, which I would love to have for Choppa, and Bright Star for that matter. But it's out of my reach right now. So on the plus side, I was able to restore almost all of their armor to perfect condition. So Choppa, right now, he's still using a mithril plate helmet that I found in the dungeon, and that has taken no points of durability. He's equipped with the magic heater shield, and he has mail leggings that are missing 1 point of durability. I'll get to that part, the polyans, later. He's also using a fully repaired padded jacket and a brand new sleeve mail shirt, which covers both of those cover arms and torso. So that ends up with 6 armor for each of those spots as well. All right, Krasha. He's still using a leather cap, but it's fully repaired. He's got mail leggings. So I ended up had to buy him basically all new gear because his coat was covering everything and it got destroyed. The vest I found in the dungeon, but at -2, and I was able to repair it to full. So he's got a fully repaired scale mail vest. He's got brand new leather bracers and brand new mail leggings. So giving him 4 armor, 3 armor, and 4. It's actually slightly less than he had before. But again, 18 points of durability versus 8. And the mail leggings are only $200. Leather bracers are $120. So, the scale mail coat I think is $1,700. So it's much, much, much more affordable to get. I would say mail cap, leggings, and the leather bracers are pretty affordable, and then go probably with leather torso armor that's just the more economical way to go, I feel like. All right, and then Bright Star hadn't changed, but we did get him fully repaired. So he's still using a padded cap, mail leggings, leather jacket, but it's all fully repaired. I didn't worry about their weapons. All 4 of them still have a whetstone with 2 uses remaining on it. And then Splitta had a padded cap that was fully restored. Mail leggings. We fully repaired his padded jacket, leather bracer, and then his mail shirt is still missing 2 points of durability down there. But Splitta does not get hit that often, so I'm not super worried about it for him. Also, his buckler that he was using, I gave to Bright Star. So Bright Star now has a buckler with -1 durability in his quick slot, so he can swap it out with his crossbow pistol if he feels like he needs to, if he's engaged in melee. All right. Now, as for the levels, because of that experience, Choppa, Krasha, and Bright Star all leveled up from 3 to 4, and Splitta actually leveled up from 2 to 4. So we'll do him last. So Choppa he got 2 hit points on his roll. He gets 1 energy for leveling up from 3 to 4. I gave him 3 points of combat skill, 3 points of strength, and 3 points of constitution. That was enough to bring his combat skill up to 70, his strength up to 65, and his constitution is now 63. None of those give you, that doesn't give me any more damage bonus or natural armor, but it's still nice. I also gave him the perk or the talent tank, which allows him to ignore the clunky rule. Basically, it allows him to equip plate mail without the negative dex that goes into that. And then he took the perk Battle Fury. So he can spend 1 energy point to allow himself to power attack twice for that round. So that's really cool. Super happy about that. He's going to be, and because he now has a 70 combat skill, he's going to be pretty effective. That will allow him to parry. He can attack twice and then still parry with a 55 or under. Or in a parry stance, he'll parry with an 85. And he gets plus 15 to his dodge as well in a parry stance. So this will let him be, I'm gonna do less power attacks, more parry stance. He's gonna kind of sit in front and just be my actual tank from now on. And we're gonna try to have Krasha be the damage dealer on the side. That's why I switched him to the Great Axe. So, and his max HP is now at 26 as well. So Krasha, he rolled 1 hit point on the die. He also got 1 energy, and I gave him an additional 5 points of constitution. So his constitution is now up to 70, all the way up there, which does give him another point of natural armor. He has 5 points of natural armor, which is the max you can get in the game, from constitution. You can still get natural armor other ways. There's like some tattoos you can get, and they'll bump that up to +6. And I'm sure there's other ways to get there. But that's the most you can get purely from Constitution. I did take a talent to give him additional Constitution to get there. So that's very high. Ogres max out at 80. It's very high. But that's where he's gonna get most of his survivability from, since he kind of lost his armor. And he's gonna be really easy to hit with the Great Axe. So that works for me. I also spent another 5 points to give him an additional hit point, since he only rolled 1. So he still ended up with 2 hit points for that level, he is up to 29 now. And then I gave him the ability Confident, which gives him +5 resolve. So that's reflected there. His resolve goes up from 49 to 54. And then I gave him the ability Taunt. So he can target any enemy that's not currently engaged in melee, and that enemy will be forced to attack Crasha. Now, the good part about that is you can use it on mages, you can use it on archers and things like that to get them to try to get into melee range and attack. So yeah, I thought that was a good use of his abilities. And then Bright Star, right here, he did gain a critical barter, so his barter was up to 46. So his level up, he gained 1 hit point. He gained 1 energy as well. And then his went a little differently. I gave him +5 combat skill, which brought him up to 70. +1 dodge and +1 heal. So his dodge went from 49 to 50, and his heal went from 61 to 62. So he's now maxed out on combat skill, and not maxed out, but his combat skill and res and prayers are both at 70. So the cost doubles to raise them any further than that. It's kind of why I did that. The way I do, it's good enough to get up to 70, I feel like, and then the critical rolls will level them up from there. And then he took Mighty Blow. So even though he only has 32 strength, Bright Star now has a damage bonus. +1 damage on all attacks, all melee attacks. And I took the perk Rally. So Rally allows any hero to retake a fear or terror test if they fail. So I think that's pretty cool for 1 energy point. Because I don't like fear. Fear kind of sucks. It can be kind of debilitating. So awesome. And let's go to Splitta. So Splitta leveled up from 2 to 4, which sounds like a lot, but rogues are little, their level ups aren't as good as anybody else's. At least not until they specialize. So I just combined the two. So for 2 levels, he gained 3 hit points. And then I gave him 5 strength and 5 combat skill. And that's it. That's all he gets for stats. The strength, it brought him from 51 to 56. Doesn't give him a damage bonus, but it does give him, you get damage bonuses at 50, 60, and 70. But it does give him the strength required to use the halberd. So, and gives him a little bit more encumbrance. So I'm fine with that. And then the combat skill, his combat skill was just so low. But, it costs 3 points per. So, it's quite expensive to raise his combat skill. But that's okay. 53 is decent. And now that he has a halberd, he can power attack from a safe position. So he'll still be hitting reasonably well. And then he got 2 talents. He got Mighty Blow, so he also got a damage bonus, which is why it's +2 up there. Which is really nice because that's going to allow him to hit a 1d12 +2, which is a solid hit. And he's going to be able to do it from reach, from 2 squares away. With Mighty, power attack damage rerolls. So very, very excited about that. I also got him Shadow Walker. Shadow Walker is really, really cool. It's from the Sneak talent tree, which I think only rogues and thieves can get access to. And it allows him it's one of the few things that makes Rogue so good. It allows him to ignore enemy zone of control completely. So like some of the enemies have. So he has 5 base movement, and he now ignores enemy zone of control. So that's going to allow him to, if he chooses to, he can fight from safety with that halberd pretty easily. But if he chooses to, and we're in an open room, we're not fighting, blocked off in a corridor, he can, we're more in the middle of the room, he can pretty easily position himself directly behind the enemy. And being directly behind the enemy, you obviously get plus 20 to your combat skill. So that helps him quite a bit. But you also get to, if you're a rogue, you get backstabber. So you ignore all armor and natural armor on your opponent. So not too shabby. He can move directly behind and hit for 1d12 plus 2, ignoring all armor with a plus 20. So not too shabby. And his perk I got him is quick dodge, which is another sneaky thing that only rogues and thieves can get. So that allows him to spend 1 energy point to get a free dodge action. So he gets his free, basic 1 per battle, but then now he can get an additional 1 for every point of energy he spends. So that's really cool. And he has 3 points of energy. So even though he can't parry, he no longer has a shield, he now can dodge multiple times. His dodge skill is not great. It's only a 45, but that'll get better over time, and he'll become kind of a beast. All right. So after we leveled everything up, we traveled from Irondale through the road all the way to Silver City. There were no events that spawned. I believe I used 3 rations on the way. Found a couple ingredients. I also tried to roll 2 potions. First one failed. Second one, I ended up with a weak potion of dexterity. Gives dexterity plus 5 for 1 battle, which I can't really imagine ever using. But it's in my backpack, and I have the recipe for it. Chamber leaves and dragon stock. I have ingredients, but I don't have a ton. And I kind of wanted to save up because I have parts of what I need for healing potions, cure disease, and cure poison, but not all of them. So I don't know. I'll mess around with that more later on. But that's kind of what all these notes craziness are. Getting to Silver City, I know I was kind of broke. I had about 400. Oh, and I also purchased, before leaving Irondale, a cooking set and 5 bottles, which is why I was able to try the potions. The cooking set is going to give all my heroes automatically gain an additional 3 hit points every time they rest. So every time I rest in a dungeon, instead of 1d6, it's 1d6 plus 3. So that's sweet. It costs $100 and it weighs 3. So highly recommend cooking set as an early item. So this is my backpack right here. It's got the cooking set, lute, harp, flute are in there. The grimoires, I actually just sold all of those after arriving. That's the first thing I did when arriving at Silver City. There was no event. I did roll a quest, which is up here. Black Acanthes, or Acanthias. You're basically looking for this special mushroom or plant that has like mind controlling properties, and that quest is up here, all the way in the northeastern corner near Bernheim. So if I make it up there at any point, I'll maybe check that out. Yeah. I thought I rolled something with a side quest. Maybe that was the one with the side quest. Oh no, I did roll one. So yeah, sorry, Irondale did have a quest. It was the Toad, which actually ended up being in the same dungeon that I just completed, and that one has the side quest mushrooms. But I wanted to go to Silver City because I'm already level 4, and I wanted to go to the second mission of the Dead Rising campaign, and I'm going to focus on that because I'm leveling so quick. I want to at least make it to Silver City, so this is my first time there. When we got to Silver City, we just visited the guilds, So I did sell off my grimoires. I had 4. A Grimoire of Healing, False Death, Gust of Wind, and Open Lock. So the way I'm figuring it is to learn a spell costs 100 gold plus the level. So a level 1 spell will cost 200 gold in 3 days for a wizard to learn that spell. So to me, the Grimoire lets you learn that spell for free. So that's its value. So level 1 Grimoire is valued at 200, a level 2 is worth 300, a level 3 is worth 400. So they were worth 1100, but when you sell stuff, you only get 70%. So I sold them for 770 coins. I then visited the Fighter's Hall, sort of visited the temple thing, just got the crusade from there. So I have a crusade against reptiles. Every reptile I kill, I get 25 gold. And then for visiting the Fighter Hall, I got bounties on 10 different monsters. You normally get 5, but I get 5 for the warrior and 5 for the berserker. So vampire, gnoll shaman, giant spider, wyvern, griffin, berserker, saurian, giant scorpion, gigantic spider, and dark elf warlock. If I kill any of those, or for each one of those I kill, you can only do each one once, I get 250 coins for that. So that's kind of cool. So that's like additional ways to make money. The thief one actually doesn't have any, which is kind of strange if you think about it. I guess they can make money gambling and doing some other things. I don't know. Yeah. So then I used that money. I purchased from the Thieves Guild the nightcap, or the Night Stalker cap, which is a special piece of armor that only for rogues and thieves. It's a type of leather that has a special armor. So it has 4 defense, 1 encumbrance, and it has 8 durability. So very, very cool. And if you get the cap, doesn't have the special effect, but any of the other pieces I think do, like the main armor pieces, make him like hard to hit. So they actually give the enemy like a -5 to hit, and if you get all the pieces, it's -10. So very, very cool for a rogue, especially since he's more melee focused. Rogue's more melee focused. Thief is more ranged. I also bought. Oh. Did I do that right? I might have underpaid by 100. Yep, underpaid by 100. Okay. So I got to take 100 coins off somebody. All right. So he's got 60, not 160. That's fine. So at the Fighters Guild, I bought 2 Polyans for 50, 2 Slayer's Treatments for 200. So that's another 300. And yeah, so the Polyans are basically kneecaps that can attach to your armor. They're like armor upgrades. So I got 1 for Crasher and 1 for Choppa. So both of their mill leggings have been upgraded to have 5 defense instead of 4. Not bad for only 50 coins. And then the Slayer treatment can apply to any weapon, including magical. It's a type of sharpening. So it's an extra thing. So I was able to sharpen the Great Axe and the Magic Longsword, and it gives them additional +1 damage. So right now, Choppa's Magic Longsword is a 1d12 plus 5 with his damage bonus, which is crazy because that's one-handed. So he's still hitting for a minimum of for 6 to 17 damage. And then Crasha is going to hit for a 1d12 plus 6 with armor piercing. So he's going to hit for 7 to 18 with 2 points of natural armor piercing. Very, very cool. And then similarly, just to go back through everybody now, Bright Star is going to hit for 1d10 plus 1 with reach. And Splitta is going to hit for 1d12 plus 2 with reach and armor piercing. one. Bright Star is armor piercing 1 as well. So everybody's got armor piercing except for Choppa. So very, very, very cool. And then stayed in the inn, and I just realized that you can actually buy part of the general store. So I've been buying potions because potions come from a specific store, which isn't in most towns. So I was like, oh, okay, potions are rare and hard to get. That's fine. What I didn't realize is, do you have equipment, weapons, armor, and shield? And then in the book, it doesn't say it in this version, but in this book it does. This is general equipment, and this is everything you can get at the general store, right? So you can get the miscellaneous stuff, you can get tools, you can get consumables, jewelry, light sources, right? But you can also, under alchemy, you can buy healing potions, cure disease potions, and cure poison potions. You can't get the best ones, but you can get the weak and standard ones. So I rolled to see if I could get some standard healing potions, because hell yeah, let's give everybody 100 coins for a healing potion. Like, I should have 10 of those. And everybody should have one in a quick slot. Like, that just makes sense at all times. But I failed the availability roll. But I passed on cure disease and cure poison, so I bought one of each, 125 apiece. So now I have a cure disease and a cure poison in my backpack. In case that happens in a dungeon, I can take care of that. All right, and that's pretty much it. I had gone back through a second day to do the shopping, so we stayed in the first night, and then the second night we just stayed in the stables. We told them we didn't have any money, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to be going on to the Dead Rising campaign, which is in Silver City. It's actually in the graveyard there, so there won't be any more traveling. All right, I think that's about it. Going through everything, I did move some stuff, like I said, the lute and harp and flute to the backpack. They only get used when resting anyway, so that's part of the free inventory thing. Technically, you could do that with bedrolls too. I have 2 bedrolls. Right now, they're on Bright Star and Crasha, but I could technically just keep them in the backpack and use them wherever it needs them. That makes sense to me, but not doing that just yet. And I also have Dwarven Pickaxe in my backpack as well that I gained in the last dungeon, as well as that weak potion of Dex. And there's also a Scroll of Light Healing and a single poison potion. The other poison potion, I believe, I don't know who I gave it to. Oh, I gave it to Bright Star. Yeah, I gave him, Bright Star, the poison potion, and Choppa gained the potion of rage. So Choppa can do one time go into frenzy as well. So super excited. It looks really powerful. You know, for example, my I can attack twice, right, with that longsword, and then parry. And my parry's still going to be at 55. And if I parry, I can absorb 6 on the shield. Actually 9, because I got the natural armor. So I can absorb up to 9 damage without taking any durability damage on my shield. But even if that goes through, I then got padded jacket and sleeve mail, so an additional 6. So it's, on a successful parry, I would have to take over 15 damage for me to take any actual hit point damage. So that's pretty exciting. I feel like he's going to be really strong. He's still going to hit hard. Same thing with Crasha. I like the Great Axe better than the Great Sword. It just works better. I feel like his armor's okay, but I got his natural armor up, so he's got a significant power boost as well. I didn't increase his combat skill, but he's already at 72. He only got more hit points and more natural armor. And then the leg armor, especially for both of them, is quite high. Splitta got that Night Stalker cap, so he's got a better helmet, and he's got a much better weapon, and he's got a little bit better combat skill. He got that ability to add extra dodges. He's got that ability to move around more, and he got that damage bonus. So he's going to be significantly more effective in combat anyway. His lockpicking skills still not great, but it is what it is. He should not have 1270 there. That should be a 10. That's left over from... Dortzlitta. And Bright Star, he did not have much change for him. His combat skill going up to 70 is probably his biggest change. His equipment hasn't really changed. He did get a +1 damage bonus, so that's going to be nice going forward. And then he just got his gear repaired, and he got that extra buckler. But nobody's really... And he also ended that curse. He had -1 max hit points, so he's back up to 17 fully now. So that he's pretty decent. 17 hit points is not bad for an elf. Elven War Priest, not at all. So, and he's kind of been my MVP, just going around anyway. I wish I had more money so that I could pay for him to learn some new prayers. Hopefully after this next quest. All right, guys. Thanks for following along and getting updated and all that. And love you guys and wish you the best. All right. Have a good one.